One place to look. Luka going off. First quarter, Kevin Harlan.
Comes another heat check from Luka. Doncic again, another three. Got it! He's a flamethrower! He is on fire! 20 points! The Don, Luka Doncic, putting on an absolute shooting clinic here in this first quarter.
Finished 6 of 10 from 3 last night, 20 points in the first quarter, and the game was never a game. And Luka and Kyrie put a stamp on this game last night of historic proportion. They're the second duo to each score at least 35 in a team or in a game where their team clinches a trip to the finals. And you see the other to do it was Elgin Baylor and Jerry West in 1962 for the Lakers. So an unbelievable performance for these two guys last night. And I did not catch who that was. Who's not with us now? We're having some trouble with some people. Okay, that's Perk, who we don't have with us. So let me go then to Monica, because you chatted after the game last night with Kyrie, and we saw a little bit of that interview. Luka's going to get a lot of the primary attention this morning, but Kyrie, when they needed him, was equally brilliant last night. What do we see from him?
Man, Greeny, obviously having the chance to sit with you guys and talk through these conference finals, Kyrie's understanding of his role and how to support Luka, what this team needs. I had a chance to talk with some Dallas folks earlier today at Shoot Around. He's got a handshake with everybody. So it's not just the basketball of it all. It is the maturity. It is the leadership. We heard Luka tell him earlier in the series, you're supposed to be exhausted at this point in competition, trying to get to the finals. And so I just think the way that he compliments Luka and he compliments this roster, because without the trades, y'all, like as excited as we are about this group, without the Gafford and the Washington trade, I don't know if this team would be here. And I think Dallas would acknowledge that as well. But Kyrie's understanding of what this team needs and when they need it, he talked about accountability after Game 4, and he showed up and gave all of that in Game 5.
And with that thought in mind, Monica, just quickly shout out our buddy Tim Legler, who came on this show the morning after that trade and said, I could see the Mavericks going to the finals with this. He immediately identified those players as being critical to what they could do. That said, Big Perk, let's talk about Kyrie. You and I have had so many conversations over the years on this show, on Countdown and others, about Kyrie Irving. It's been such a fascinating roller coaster ride for him over the years. How about what he has done in this postseason?
Well, Greeny, you ready for this conversation?
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving, what he's done this season and in the postseason, guess what? He got a lot of people waking up, looking themselves in the mirror, going get a cup of coffee and a box of Newport shorts because they need it right now, because we have answers. We need answers to a lot of questions right now. Why is Kyrie Irving not on the Olympic team? Why is Kyrie Irving not a top 75 greatest player of all time? These are legit questions. We're talking about a guy for his career that's averaging close to 24 points a game, almost 6 assists and 4 rebounds for his career. This year, his numbers in the regular season were similar to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards was an all-NBA player, made the all-NBA second team. So when we're thinking about Kyrie Irving and what he's doing right now, look, his leadership has been outstanding for the Dallas Mavericks. It's the reason that they're here, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of questions that need to be answered when you talk about Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, and not what Kyrie Irving done outside the court.
Well, that's the point, Alan, right? Like this is the player that we've sort of been begging to see. Yeah, that we have forgotten essentially since Cleveland.
Yeah, and that's why, Perk, I mean, we can't rewrite like what last year was for him and the year before that was for him. You know, that stuff is still there, and that's why decisions were made about him. I mean, what he's doing right now is laundering his legacy by making it, again, about basketball and reminding us the brilliance, of course, that he has on the court. But there were a lot of other things that were going on with him beyond basketball. That's why USA Basketball would probably say, you know, this is a guy we're going to have to do without right now. Everybody acknowledges, and we always have, what a great player he is. But the other stuff was a big part of the conversation, maybe way too much of the conversation in his time in Brooklyn and a little bit, of course, of his ending time in Boston. But his fit with Luka is fantastic, and you give him a ton of credit, but you also give Jason Kidd a ton of credit, Nico Harrison a ton of credit for making all this work.
Go ahead, Bart.
Well, Alan, look, my grandpa always used to tell me it's your side of the story, their side of the story, and then it's the truth, okay? It's the truth that lies in the middle. And the fact of the matter is that we've heard a lot of people's side of the story, but we've never heard Kyrie Irving's side of the story when it comes down to his situation being with the Brooklyn Nets. But outside of all that, when you're talking about things like the Olympic team, a top 75 greatest of all time, that had nothing to do with the past 2 years. Like, Kyrie Irving is already labeled, in some eyes, a lot of player eyes, the most skilled player to ever touch the damn basketball. That never went anywhere. So at the end of the day, if we're talking about the basketball player and what he brings on the basketball court, I mean, we got questions. We got questions. I need answers.
So that's another
Well,
conversation.
the win man always has the answers. What are they, Wendy? What are the right things to say about Kyrie right now?
Well, this is the undercurrent of this finals, because what you're seeing is the Kyrie Irving at age 32 being a much more well-rounded, better understanding player versus the Kyrie Irving when he was 27, when he came to Boston, thinking that was going to be his team, thinking that was going to be his future. That's what he wanted away from LeBron. And he handled it very poorly. He did not nurture the players that were younger than him. He did not nurture he sort of berated Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And then he handled going back there, the breakup, very immaturely. He's stepping on the logo at center court and, doing all these types of things. And that resulted in a lot of animus that, was sometimes unfair to him, but was a result of how he treated it. What he's done with Luka is a product of what happened when he didn't find that bond with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
I just had that utmost confidence when I was going to sleep last night, waking up and shooting around like I said, and just feeling like we were going to play one of our best games.
14 for Luka on the rubber. What is going on here?
Timberwolves have missed the last 7. Luka pulls up and hits again, a three-pointer. Doncic, a 20-point first quarter.
From the Wolves, and Irving three.
And it's just total domination, and it's the Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving show again.
They said we'll be back next year.
And to be rewarded like this feels great. We don't take it for granted.
Obviously, we're not done. We need 4 more, but I think today we all deserve to enjoy this win.
Boy, do they ever. 36 apiece for Kyrie and Luka last night. It was never a game from the first quarter on, and the Mavericks are headed to the finals. They'll open in Boston next Thursday night. Now, if you were just a moment ago, we passed the bottom of the hour here. A lot of new people joining us. We're in the middle of a conversation. Look, Luka, spectacular, nothing else to say. Kyrie, obviously, a fascinating figure in the NBA for so many reasons for such an incredibly long time. I don't know that we've ever seen this version of him. And the facial expressions on both Kendrick Perkins and Monica McNutt were fascinating, and I promise we get right back to them. Big Perk, go.
So, Wendy, Greeny, I've been very critical of Kyrie Irving. I also apologize to Kyrie Irving this week, okay? And the reason being is because I'm looking at this situation with him in Dallas, and I'm wondering, why did Kyrie Irving turn the corner? Right? And to me, you have to give a lot of credit to the Dallas Mavericks because they did everything that they supposed to do in the organization to make one of their franchise guys feel comfortable. That's what all organizations do. They make their franchise guys feel comfortable and they cater to them. Trust me, as a guy that played with 14 Hall of Famers, I would call myself a groupie. I know how it feels and I watched it firsthand to watch guys get treated. Now, Kyrie back in Brooklyn. Kyrie returning to Boston. I hear so many people talking about Kyrie stepping on Lucky and how he disrespected the Boston Celtics. I don't give a damn if he dropped it like it was hot. He could do whatever he wanted if he on the opposing team. And damn it, look, Kyrie Irving, again, what he has done, it has to be applauded. And I thought I was one of the few that thought he didn't give a damn about the game of basketball. But boy, I was wrong. The right situation with the right coach, with the right player alongside of him that still believe in him and they cater to him, we see what we're getting out of Kyrie Irving right now.
Monica, go.
Greeny, I think I'm watching Perk kind of react to the larger conversation around Kyrie Irving, but I think for me, there's an understanding that two things can be true. Kyrie Irving has grown up a tremendous degree since the antics that we are talking about. He deserves the utmost credit, right? Unfortunately, though, when we talk about Team USA, when we talk about some of these awards, it is still part of his legacy, which to a degree is complicated. Now, when you talk just basketball, Perk, I'm 100% with you. But I think in the storytelling of sports characters, I understand how we got here. That's my only thing, right? So Wendy is correct in documenting how things went down. Perk is 100% correct when we talk about the pure basketball of it all. Kyrie and the Mavs organization deserve an apology from a lot of us that didn't know that this was going to work. But I will say, to Perk's point, Shamgar, one of the assistant coaches with the Dallas Mavs, has been huge in terms of building relationships, not just with Kyrie, but with all those guys on that team. And then you look at Jason Kidd and all the respect he commands. You talk about his tactics and not just telling guys what to do, but telling them what he would do in terms of adjustments. The respect and the accountability, to me, is the most unique thing. And Kyrie leaning into that and wanting to be a part of that has helped to birth this new and improved version of him.
Yeah, Monica, we can't overlook that part you just said there, because that's the most important part of this. Of course, it is about the environment, but you mentioned Shamgar, who's obviously New York City basketball legend, let's be honest, and Kyrie Irving has respect and has a connection to him going back. More importantly, Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd not only had the resume for Kyrie Irving to pay attention, but he's also known him for an extremely long time, since he was a little kid. Mm-hmm. He grew up watching Jason Kidd. He was a Nets fan growing up, and Jason Kidd was taken to the Nets to the finals back in those days. All that stuff is important for Kyrie to be in an environment where he could feel like, I trust the people I'm working with here, and I want to give them my best. All that stuff's important, but we cannot overlook the fact that he was the author of the narrative that became what it followed him for a couple of seasons. And I think we can all say that, like, Perk, I'm glad you said you apologized to him. I'd rather be a hypocrite and be the same person all the time. MCA once said that, and I feel the same way. You can change as a person, and we can change our opinion about you as you change. So it's great to see him where he is right now.
Go ahead, Big Perk.
I would suggest that everyone keep a cool booty, because let me tell you what we all should be afraid of, right? If Kyrie Irving goes on to win the NBA championship, I'm afraid that he's going to actually tell his side of the story and what went on with the Brooklyn Nets. And once we get his side of the story, then we're going to be having another conversation. Oh, I'm just saying, Monica. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Because more apology letters are going to come out. Because, I've been taking hey, Greenie, I don't go searching for information, but sometimes information finds me. And I'm telling you right now, Sean Marks was not a saint in this situation when it came down to the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm going to leave it at that.
What are your thoughts on where he is right now and how he got from there to here?
Kyrie Irving was an active participant in what happened to his career in Boston and Brooklyn. Maybe he wasn't the only reason, but he was a very central reason. Remember, he wanted to opt out of his contract with the Nets 2 years ago. Nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted to pay him. Nobody was willing to step up. So he had to stay in his contract. When it came time for him to be traded, there was very few bidders on him. The Mavericks actually didn't pay that high of a price, in all honesty, for a player of this quality. That's why it was a brilliant move by Nico Harrison and a gutsy move. Last year, he was a free agent. Nobody wanted him. Nobody was willing to rip their team apart or go to the mat. He didn't get offered max contracts. Dallas got him at less than a max contract, at less than max years, because he was viewed as a damaged property. He was an active participant in having that. And when you go back and look what happened when he was in Cleveland at the end, 2017, this exact week in 2017, when they won and got to the finals, LeBron James, sitting there at age 33 years old, went on a long love letter to Kyrie Irving saying, he is the perfect player for me. He's got such an incredible future. I can see where we're going to ride off into the sunset together. I'm going to hand this team over to him, and I'm going to be following him soon. Kyrie listened to all of that and said, I'd like to be traded. And now, after his idea that he was going to, do it all on his own failed, here Kyrie is at age 32, looking down at Luka Doncic, feeling like LeBron James, going, boy, This young guy is really special. He's amazing. I could work with him going forward. He is a completely different person and a completely different point in his life and his career than he was. He's right back where LeBron was when he didn't want to be a part of LeBron. And to Luka's credit, Luka's embraced it and they've worked together. And all of that is the arc. All of that is the story. Everything that happened led to this. It doesn't mean you have to apologize to him, but it does mean you need to understand what's happened.
Okay, fair enough. Let me leave that there. We'll, Big Perk, I want to ask you a different, pardon me, I'm choked up just thinking about the magnitude of this story.